Welcome back to digital class, and now we're looking at one of the very important topics from this P5 chapter 10, and this is called angles at a point. So the first thing you should understand is angles at a point means that you have a point here and there's different line around you. Then you need to find out the angles around this point. So that's the topic that we are learning, angles at a point. So, and I have actually summarized these angles at a point into big three tips or big three things that you should know. And as long as you know these three things and you can execute it correctly, then you should have no problem at all in solving any questions related to angles at a point. Okay, so let's stay focused and look at these three things. Okay, perhaps some of you feel like these three things is very simple, but when you are dealing with the question, if you forget any of these 3 points, you might stop doing the question. Okay, let's look at these questions. Look at these three tips. The first tips that you should know, let's go to your booklet, page 9. Here says that the sum of angles on a straight line is 180 degrees. Again, I repeat, sum of angles on a straight line is 180. So it means that if I have this one line, then example from this at the middle point, I say put one line, or maybe I'll say put one more line. No matter how many angles inside here, what I know is the angle here, if it's named A, the angle here named B, the angle here named C, the angle here named D, I know for sure A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 180 degrees. Okay, now that is the first very important things you should know. Okay, and thing here is that one straight line, and this straight line doesn't mean the line like this only. It can be a straight line that goes like this. It can be a straight line that goes like this. Whatever it is, here is always 180. Here is always 180. And of course, you should know that also the other side is also 180. The other side is also 180. Okay, so that is the first very, very important point that you should know. But students sometimes will get confused with something. Is that you must actually really make sure is a straight line. You are teacher, a straight line. Of course, I know that it's a straight line, right? Now, how do you know that this line is a straight line? Usually, the question will say, so for example, if I have this line here, I say this is dot A, this is dot B, this is dot C. So the question usually will stay very clearly, say that A, B, C is a straight line. Yeah, if they say A, B, C is a straight line, now you know it's 180 for sure. But sometimes, for me, for example, Mr. Lo can be a very bad guy, right? Can be very tricky. I do like this. I say here is example D, E, F. You might look at it, teacher, it looks really like a straight line. But I don't want to mention it. I don't put in and mention that D, E, F is straight line. No. Okay? I don't mention D, E, F is straight line. Means that I actually did not tell you it's a straight line in the question. And I let you on your own assume that it's a straight line. But is it a straight line? No. I actually might adjust it in such a way that it can be 179 degrees, right? And why? Because I want to trick you to think that it's a straight line. You get what I'm trying to say? Okay? And in question that you'll be seeing, you might see question like this. Okay? So you must make sure the questions say that it's a straight line. Okay? So let me just show you some of the questions that you will always see. Like, I will actually always kind of state very clearly AFD is this line, right? AFD is a straight line. CFE is a straight line. Now, then you can kind of show that it's a straight line. If I don't mention, then you don't assume it's a straight line. You can see, right? I will always say EF, GH are straight line. PQRS on straight line. So I always will actually state very clearly to you. Okay? You can see I have a lot of straight line. If I don't say it's a straight line, do not assume it's a straight line. Okay? That's the first part. Now the second point that I will be talking is the sum of angles. So what happened is you need to understand the sum of angle at a point is always 360. Now, just now I mentioned sum of a straight line is 180, right? So the sum of angles at the point is 360. Means that one turn is always 360. Why? As you can see, right, one straight line, one side is 180, another side will be 180. So add together is what? 360 lor. That's why must be 360. So you can see here, I have a point here, this is the main point. Then I have different angles around. So for example, I name these angles as A, this angle as B, this angle as C, this angle as D, this angle as E. So A, B, C, D, E. No matter how it works, A plus B plus C plus D plus E is always 360 degree. Okay, it's always 360 degree. Teacher, how about angle like this? He. Oops, why is this turning? How about like this? Who, then he. How about angles like this? Yeah. If here is F, if here is G, then F plus G is 360. Yeah, it's possible. Okay, it is not like always 5 angles. It can be 2. As long as split all the things that add up together is 360. Okay, so this is something that you should know. Okay, some of the common confusion some of the students might have is 360 degree, right? Some of you might accidentally thought it's 365 because 365 is the number of days in a year, right? Oh, no, 365 is not this number of days in a year. 360 degree is the one that is correct. Okay, so I think this should be okay. And you must know, some of you might forget and you thought it's 180. No. 180 is for straight line, 360 is for the angles at a point, the sum of angles at a point. Okay, let's move on to the third one. The third one is something a bit more tricky now. Okay, now the word they use now is the vertical opposite angles are equal. You're like, teacher, what does that mean? Don't worry. Okay, so the first thing you should understand that I have one straight line here, I have another straight line here. So in total, I have 2 straight lines. Again, this word straight line is extremely important. Why? Because if these two are not straight line, then this case does not happen. Means that the vertically opposite angles are not equal. Okay? So again, I repeat, you must have 2 straight lines in order for this to happen. If I have 2 straight lines like this, the angle here and the angle here will be the same. If here is A, here will be A. If here is B, then here will be B. That is basically the idea. Okay, I repeat. If I have 2 straight lines, one like this, if here is A, here will be B. So if here A, here will be A. Here will be, here will be. It's just an X. And when there's X, the opposite one will be the same. Equal means what? Same. Teacher, like this I know. How about like this? Is it the same? As long as this is straight line, this is straight line. If here is C, here will be C. If here is D, here will be D. Okay, so that is basically the idea. And again, I have repeating so many times is that you must make sure it's a straight line. That's why when you see the question, I always mention what? Straight line. As you can see, right, all the blue color highlighted straight line. Because without the word straight line, you can't assume that that is actually the same. Okay? Now, what are some of the misconception or confusion? Again, you must make sure is to straight line. How do you know? The question will tell. Okay? question will tell. If the question did not tell, means that you need to be very careful. You need to find out, is it really true or not? Okay? So for example, I can have a question that looks like this. Okay? I'll say who, I'll say this is A, this is E, and D, this is B. Then I will have another line that look like this. Choop, choop. Then I will say, oh, this is C, this is D. Then I will say, oh, AEB is a straight line. Then I'll say here's angle example 60. Find angle DEB, which is find angle here. Now, can you straight away tell me DEB is actually 60? The answer is no. Why? Did I say CED is actually a straight line? No, right? And some of you just look at, oh, teacher, it's an X. Like this one line, so here's 60. No. If you look carefully, this line are actually not a straight line, right? So it's like, then it's like this already. It's not like straight. That's why you cannot assume that this is a straight line. And if this is not a straight line, this angle cannot be 60 degrees. Okay? And of course, if I were to be a bad guy, I'll make it in such a way that it looks like a straight line, but it's not a straight line. Then I'll to trick you. Correct. And this is what some of the questions like to do. It's not me bad lah, okay? But overall, you will see some question like this. Okay? And this is something extremely important. You need to be careful. Don't look at the question straight away think it's a straight line. And in order to be very careful is you must read the question. You must always read the question. And when you read the question, you must read carefully. Okay? Again, we have done with these 3 points, and these 3 points is something that very, very important. Straight line, angles at the point, and again about straight line. Okay? So let's revise it one more time. The sum of angles on the straight line is 180. Okay? 180. Next, the sum of angles at a point is 360. And when two of the straight lines are crossing, intersecting each other, the vertical opposite angles are equal. Equal means the same. Now, I know some of you might be thinking about, teacher, can I say A plus B is actually 180? Yeah, it's correct. A plus B is 180. As you can see, A plus B is 180. Yeah, can I say 2A plus 2B, this 2A plus this 2B is 360? Yeah, you're right. So with that, now you actually know how these things works. And you can try out some of the question here. Okay? So before that, let's just try one question for you to get you think about it. Now, AFD, as you can see here, is a straight line. CFE is a straight line. Now, this is the keyword. Now, what happened is you need to find CFD. But how do you find? We are given here a square, and I know this is a right angle. This is 90 degrees. Correct. And again, because I know that AFD is a straight line, I know the total angle is supposed to be 180. And because total is 180, so 180 minus this 90, minus this 24, and we'll give you what's the angle here. And you'll find out what is the answer. The same thing here, right? If say question 2, if here is 57, here is 99, here, of course, I know here's 90 degrees. And I know this from tip 1, right? I know it's 180. That's why I put here. And I know from tip 2, what did I say? The angles at a point, the total angle is what? 360. You have to find y, as you know. Okay? So I'll just stop here, and I hope that you learn something very, very important here on angles at a point. Okay? Master the tip 1, 2, and 3, the 3 tips, and you should be no problem in solving any of the questions like this. Okay? And thank you. See you. Bye-bye.